I'm showing you how easily you can make a healthier and gluten-free strawberry cake with a fluffy strawberry cream cheese frosting. It's made gluten-free with almond and tapioca flour and naturally sweetened with cane sugar and fresh strawberries. We're giving it an even more delicious strawberry flavor with freeze-dried strawberry powder. Then we're layering it with cream cheese frosting and topping it with more strawberries. All your guests will love it regardless of whether or not they have a gluten allergy. We're going to begin by prepping our pans, and I'm going to use 2 8-inch round pans, but you could also use 3 6-inch round pans. I also like to line them with parchment paper and spray them, so you could either cut out your own circles or you can buy these pre-bought circles and give them a good spray with some nonstick. And you can also just spray your pan really well and then dust it with some flour if you don't have the parchment paper. And then we can set these aside. Next, we want to prep our strawberries, and you can use either fresh or frozen. I've taken 2/3 of a cup of some frozen strawberries, and then I just put them in the microwave for a minute to melt them down. And then I'm going to scoop out just the strawberries, leaving behind the juice. So with my fork, I'll just scoop these right onto my cutting board. And then I'll take some paper towels and just give them a quick squeeze. And I'll take my knife and just go through and give them a quick chop. And then I'll just transfer them right into my mixing bowl. Next, we'll add the rest of our wet ingredients, which includes 4 eggs, 1 cup of cane sugar, 1/4 cup of oil, and light olive oil is my favorite, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract. Now you have the option of adding some pink food coloring just to visually enhance the strawberry cake. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some drops of some natural pink food coloring. Then I'll mix it all together until it's well combined. And it starts to smell really good of strawberries and vanilla and almond. And now we can add our dry ingredients, which includes 3 1/4 cup of almond flour, 1/3 cup of tapioca flour, and then to add even more strawberry flavor, we're adding some freeze-dried strawberry powder. So I'm adding 1/3 cup of powder to the mix. And then we're adding 2 teaspoons of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then we'll whisk these together until well combined. And then we have this very beautiful and fragrant strawberry cake batter. And then I'll just take a spatula and divide it between both of our cake pans. And then we'll wiggle the pans back and forth to make sure it's nice and even. Give it a few taps to remove any air bubbles. Now these are ready to go into a 350-degree oven for about 25 to 28 minutes, or until the tops are starting to turn just a really light golden brown and a toothpick comes out clean. While the cakes are baking, we'll go ahead and make our strawberry cream cheese frosting. I'm going to start with 3 strawberries. And you could use fresh or frozen. I'll go ahead and just use fresh. And then I'll cut off the stems and just finely dice them. These will give us some really beautiful little streaks of strawberry running through our frosting. And then we'll go ahead and push that aside. And then in our mixing bowl, we're going to add 12 ounces of cream cheese, which is 1 1/2 blocks. Then we'll add 1/3 of a cup of butter. And you want both of these to be room temperature. And then we'll add 2 tablespoons of our freeze-dried strawberry powder, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 2 dashes of salt. And then we want to mix this together till it's really smooth and creamy. We'll go ahead and add 1 1/2 cups of powdered cane sugar. And then we'll slowly mix this in until it's well incorporated. Now that that's all mixed in, we'll go ahead and dump in our strawberries. And then we'll gently fold those in just until combined. Wow, that looks so good, and I love those chunky strawberries in there. I think we need to have a little pinky test for quality control. Oh man, that is so good. And then I'm going to go ahead and let this hang out in my fridge until our cakes are baked and cooled and ready to frost. Well, here are our baked cakes, and I took them out of the oven and allowed them to cool for about 10 minutes in the cake pans. And then I took them out of the pans, put them onto this cooling rack, and then I put them in my freezer for about 15 minutes until they were completely cooled. And now they are ready to frost. So I'll just peel off the parchment paper and then place it in the center of my cake plate. And I'll take my spatula and just drop a nice big serving of frosting right in the middle. And then I'll use my frosting spatula just to quickly spread this around. And then we'll give our plate a little spin just to make that even easier. Now that that looks nice and even, we'll go ahead and add our second layer. So I'll peel back the parchment paper and then just carefully place it on top. And then we can scoop more of our frosting right on top of the cake. And then I'm going to spread this out to the edges. And then we'll let it fall right over the side. And then we can start spreading it onto the side of the cake. Now you can decide if you want this to be nice and neat, or if you want it to be chunky and sloppy and swirly. And that's the look I'm going for. And this recipe makes plenty of frosting, so you have lots to work with to cover your cake. Now I'm just going to go around with my spatula and make some nice big swirls. Well, that looks gorgeous, and now we have the option of leaving it as is, or we could add some strawberries to the top. So I'm just going to take my knife and cut off the top of the strawberry, and then I'm going to slice it in half. We could gather them together on the top of the cake or create more of an asymmetrical shape. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of place them off to the side here on the top, and then I'll take some more strawberries and make some thinner slices. So you can get creative and do this however you like. I'll play with a few different sizes. And then as an extra garnish, I'm going to bring in some mint leaves, and then I'll just kind of poke those in here and there so they look like the natural leaves of the strawberries. And they add a really beautiful contrasting green color to the cake. Okay, I'm done, I promise. Well, that looks so beautiful. And then we can just go around and tidy up our plate. And this cake is ready to serve. Now, I kept a little piece of my sample cake that I made earlier, and I just so happened to have a little bit of frosting left over. So I'm gonna spread that right on top here. Dig into that soft, moist cake with some cream cheese frosting and strawberry. Wow, that is divine. That is so good. That is just a joyful burst of delicious natural strawberry flavor. I love the sponge of the cake that's super moist and has delicious depth of flavor coming in from that almond flour. And I get the perfect amount of strawberry coming in from the little fresh strawberry chunks, as well as the freeze-dried strawberries. And then getting that cream cheese frosting on the top just adds a delicious tang and is so luxurious. Now, of course, this is a treat and needs to be eaten in moderation, but at least you know you're eating something with clean, natural ingredients, which for me means I'm gonna feel just as good even after I enjoy it. And I love being able to share these creatively healthy recipes so that you can enjoy them too. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today in my kitchen. And I've included a link in the video description below to the full recipe, which takes you to my website, gentletummy.com. And I also invite you to like and subscribe to my channel. And if you know someone else who you think would love this recipe, please share this video with them. And I cannot wait to have you hang out with me again in my kitchen.